Hey small business owner, this is Jody Maria. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the power of Facebook ads. Now, a lot of people are still kind of like blundering their way through Google AdWords. And Google AdWords is a hell of a tool. It's true. There's a lot of data, there's a lot of things you can do with it, and there's a lot of flexibility, but there are a few issues. Now the problem is because Google AdWords is such a great platform and they know they're a great platform, you are paying a ton more than you probably need to per click or per 1,000 impressions or whatever you're doing. In reality, there are way better options if that is the kind of game you're trying to play. Now, for me as a small business owner, we became Google partners a long time ago. And while it worked, it was never as good as it probably could have been. And there are some hesitations that I've always had, some reservations about Google AdWords and introducing clients to it, because sometimes there's just so much competition that there is no reasonable way for a small business owner to make their money back on Google AdWords. You can do all the tricks under the sun. In fact, we even have a top secret, if I told you I'd have to kill you group of Google employees that run our ads sometimes, and they still cannot get it down right. They can't get it down below what Facebook does sometimes. Now, that should scare the hell out of you. These are people that work specifically on Google's ad team. Their job is optimizing accounts. Their job is to work with my agency and to optimize accounts to make sure you're not spending crazy money and that you're at the top of the list, right? So you're number 1, number 2, or number 3 on the search results. And I don't mean search results like search engine optimization, I mean on the ad bar on the side, right? So looking at that, if these guys, Google employees who are making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to do this job cannot do it, how in the hell do you expect you, a reasonable human being, to be more successful at their jobs than them? And that is really where the veil kind of got ripped down for me. And I knew that we had to look in a different direction. So enter Facebook ads. Now, Google may have a ton of information. I mean, they have so much information, the United States government is borrowing information from them. And in a world where we have the Patriot Act and all these other things, for the US government to need Google to pull information is shocking how much information they have on us, right? So looking at that, they may have a lot of information, but they share comparatively a very, very, very small amount when put next to someone like Facebook. Now, Facebook does not have nearly the information that Google as a company has, but they provide advertisers with almost 4 or 5 times the data and necessary data, applicable data, that Google does. Now, Google will give you a shower of strange little details and data from your ads, and that's great, except the average person can't really interpret the jumble of charts, maps, graphs, and other figures that Google spews at you every day. Whereas with Facebook, it's much simpler. Your results are much narrower, and you can do things that you could never do with Google, like clone people. Now, I know when I say clone people, that's kind of a weird phrase, but in reality, when you know exactly who your perfect prospect is, the person that will buy from you 9 times out of 10 is pre-motivated, pre-qualified, and predetermined, predestined to want to buy from you, when you have the know, like, and trust of that one person, if you can clone them, you'd have a hell of a business, wouldn't you? I mean, realistically, if I have 2 or 3 clients that if I could get a cloning machine and just make 20 of each, I would be probably a billionaire, because they're great clients, they're easy to work with, they pay on time, they're nice people, and I would let them into my house any day of the week for dinner or whatever. They're nice people that you want to work with. Well, in reality, we're not always that lucky, because right now I have 2 or 3 people that I wouldn't want to sit next to on an airplane that's, a flight longer than 2 or 3 hours. And that is a determinant factor in whether or not you want to work with somebody, if you actually want to sit next to them for any determined amount of time. But back to what we were talking about. So the cool thing about Facebook is essentially cloning, right? You can take your perfect prospect like we have and create what's called a lookalike audience. Now a lookalike audience is insanely cool. Basically it takes whoever is on your list, as long as you have more than 1,000 people for privacy reasons, as long as you have more than 1,000 people, you can clone them, and Facebook will actually take those 1,000 people, look through all the data that they have, and see what these 1,000 people have in common. Then they create a map, basically, of what those 1,000 people have in common, and they use the map to look at all of Facebook, 179 million people, and they find people that just match those buying behaviors, the genders, the demographic stuff, right? And they create another list for you. So if you have 1,000 people on your email list and it's a great email list and you're seeing big open rates and big click-through, you can take that email list, plug it into Facebook, and find 1 million other people with the same behaviors as that 1,000. And guess what? They're really likely to actually buy. They're really likely to respond to your ads. In fact, it's way better than traditional cold traffic marketing, which is kind of what Google Adwords is. The cool thing about that too, guys, is if you set up what's called Facebook conversion pixels, or Facebook pixels now, you can easily create remarketing campaigns just off of anybody that actually clicks the damn thing. And it takes probably 1/4 of the time that doing it all through Google Ads did. And like I said, guys, we're partners of Google. I have probably about 400 Google Pens, Chromecasts, like 30 leather Google notebooks that they send to me every quarter. And I'm still telling you this because it's the truth. It's the absolute truth that if you even have 1,000 people, you are losing a shitload of money by not going and checking out Facebook ads, doing your due diligence. With $5-10 a day, you can probably make way more than you ever did on Google, because one click on Google, if you're in a highly competitive place, can be $6, $7, $8, $9. And that's if you have a 10 out of 10 on landing page and just total ad relevance, right? Facebook is a lot simpler. It has not got all the bells and whistles, but it does have some features that are infinitely more useful for a small business owner like you or me. The cool thing about that is your pixels can be stretched and used 50, 60, 70, 80 times in a bunch of different ways. You have different pre-targeted types of campaigns. You have access now to Instagram advertising, which is something we're playing with, and I'll let you know how that goes in the future, because I believe, theoretically, Instagram advertising could become massive. So I'm going to keep digging away on that one for you guys. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, and I wanted to get you excited about Facebook ads, right? As a Google partner, puts me in a little bit of a weird position, and hopefully we don't get our partner privilege completely yanked out from under us. But if we do, no big deal, because pretty much everything we're doing is now going to be through Facebook ads. So now that you know why I'm doing it, you can go do it too. I'm really excited, and I hope you take this stuff and you apply it to your business right away. If you want more help or more tips, check out the link below, and you're going to see a full write-up of how to use it and videos, basically tutorials of how to set up your actual campaign. I'm Joe DiMaria. Thanks for watching, guys.